The holidays. For so many people, it's all about joy and celebration. But for a lot of us, it can also be a time of intense sadness, a ton of pressure, and just loneliness. And the hardest part? It's that feeling that you're supposed to be happy. So today, we're going to dig into that difficult and honestly often unspoken experience.
I mean, this anonymous comment just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? There's the depression itself, which is hard enough, but then you've got this second, really heavy layer of guilt for feeling that way when it seems like everyone else is having the time of their lives. It's a huge burden, and it's a truth that so many people are facing right now.
So let's actually break down this really confusing mix of feelings. We're going to talk about what we can call the holiday guilt trap, and really try to understand this cycle of sadness and self-judgment that can make this time of year so tough. Okay, so this is the vicious cycle we're talking about. It starts when you feel down. Then you look around, you see all the celebrating, and you think, ugh, what is wrong with me? And that thought, that's what triggers the guilt. But the guilt doesn't fix anything, right? It just makes the original sadness feel even deeper. You end up in this loop, judging yourself for having emotions that are already incredibly hard to carry.
And, when you're caught in that loop, it can feel like you're the only one in the world going through it. But the reality is, if this is you, you are so far from alone. This seemingly personal struggle is actually a really widely shared experience.
I mean, just look at the numbers here. They're actually pretty surprising. Surveys show over and over again that a huge majority of people, we're talking around 70%, report feeling more stress, more sadness, or depressive symptoms during the holidays. So if this is you, you're not the exception. You're actually part of a very large group, even if it doesn't feel that way.
So why? Why does this specific time of year feel like a pressure cooker for our emotions? What is it about the holidays that can take any sorrow you're already feeling and just turn the volume all the way up?
This right here, this gets to the absolute core of the problem. On one side, you have the cultural script, the expectation that you have to be merry and festive and oh so grateful. But then on the other side, there's your personal reality, and maybe that reality is filled with loss or financial strain or just a deep sense of loneliness. The holidays create this huge gap between how we think we should feel and how we actually feel. And look, these feelings don't just come out of nowhere. There are real, concrete, valid reasons why you might be struggling. It could be the seasonal changes, with the shorter days. It could be your first holiday season after losing someone you love. It might be the crushing stress of money, or the ache of being lonely, or just trying to manage your own ongoing personal struggles. These things are real, and they don't just vanish because the calendar says it's December.
And this brings us to what is maybe the most crucial point of all of this. It's about how we frame this experience. Is it some kind of personal failure, or is it something else entirely?
Depression is not a choice. Let that sink in for a second. It's not a moral shortcoming. It's not a sign of weakness. You wouldn't feel guilty for having the flu during a holiday party, and this is truly no different. It's a health condition, period. And this condition is influenced by very real things. Your biology, your brain chemistry, that all plays a part. Your current life circumstances are a huge factor, and, as we've already seen, those sky-high cultural expectations can absolutely make things worse. It's a complex mix, and not a single one of those things is a reflection of your character. So, if you can't just force yourself to be happy, what's the alternative? Well, instead of fighting harder against your feelings, let's look at a totally different approach, a path that leads towards self-kindness. This quote just nails it. Our minds are fantastic storytellers, and they love to spin these tales about the perfect, cheerful holiday we should be having. But clinging to that ideal, especially when it doesn't match our reality, that's where so much of the suffering comes from. The pain is often in the fight, not just the feeling itself. So this is the fundamental shift. When you resist how you truly feel, when you tell yourself it's wrong to be sad, you just create more tension and more suffering for yourself. But what if you just acknowledge it? What if you just say to yourself, okay, this is my truth right now? That doesn't magically make the sadness go away, but it opens up a space. It creates a path where you can start to treat yourself with some much-needed kindness. So I'll leave you with this final thought. We often think of kindness as this big, complicated thing. But what if it's way simpler? What if the very first act of kindness you can offer yourself this season is to just stop fighting and gently, quietly tell yourself the truth about how you feel?